He was Korea's most cynical prosecutor who believed justice was dead. She was a Nigerian human rights lawyer who refused to stop fighting. When a conspiracy forced them together, they discovered that some battles are worth fighting and some loves are worth dying for. Kang Tae-jun had stopped believing in justice 3 years ago. He sat in his Seoul office, staring at another case file he knew would go nowhere. Corruption, bribery, cover-ups. The powerful walked free while the innocent suffered. He'd prosecuted hundreds of cases, won most of them, and watched the system let them all slip through. "What's the point?" he'd asked his mentor once. "The point is you keep fighting." But Tae-jun was tired of fighting. At 34, he was Korea's youngest senior prosecutor, brilliant and ruthless. But somewhere along the way, he'd lost his soul. He did his job mechanically, presented evidence, won cases, went home to an empty apartment, repeated. Women came and went. Colleagues. Lawyers. None lasted. He didn't have the capacity to care anymore. "You're dead inside," his sister told him. "Better than being disappointed," he'd replied. Then came the case that changed everything. It started with a phone call from the director. "Tae-jun, we have a situation. International NGO is challenging the Hwang Corporation verdict. They're sending a lawyer from their African division." Tae-jun barely looked up. "Let them. The verdict is solid. She's already filed 17 motions. She's not backing down." For the first time in months, Tae-jun felt a flicker of interest. "Who is she?" "Adaeze Okonkwo. Nigerian. Harvard Law graduate. She's won cases against governments in 3 countries. Tae-jun smiled coldly. "Then I'll enjoy breaking her." He had no idea she was about to break him instead. Adaeze Okonkwo had come to Seoul with one purpose: justice. The Hwang Corporation case was straightforward on paper: a Korean conglomerate accused of environmental violations in Ghana that killed 15 people. The Korean prosecutor's office had convicted them, but the sentence was laughably light. Fines, no jail time, business as usual. Adaeze's organization, Justice Without Borders, had taken on the case. The victims' families deserved more than money. They deserved accountability. She stood in the Seoul District Prosecutor's office, briefcase in hand, wearing a crisp blue suit. The receptionist stared at her, a tall black woman with natural hair styled in elegant twists, speaking perfect Korean. "I have an appointment with Prosecutor Kang Tae-jun. One moment, please." When she was led to his office, Tae-jun was reading her file. He didn't stand when she entered. Didn't smile. Just looked up with cold, assessing eyes. "Ms. Okonkwo, you're wasting your time." Adaeze sat without being invited. "Prosecutor Kang, you're wasting lives." His eyebrow raised slightly. "Excuse me? 15 people died because Hwang Corporation dumped toxic waste into water supplies. Your office gave them a slap on the wrist. That's not justice. That's complicity." Tae-jun leaned back, studying her. Most lawyers came in nervous, deferential. She came in swinging. "The sentence was within legal parameters," he said calmly. "We followed the law. The law is broken if it protects corporations over people. Then change the law. Don't waste my time." Adaeze opened her briefcase, pulling out documents. "I have new evidence. Testimony from Hwang executives admitting they knew about the contamination 6 months before it went public. That's premeditated negligence. That's manslaughter." Tae-jun took the documents, scanning them. His expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. "Where did you get these?" "Whistleblowers. People with consciences. Illegally obtained testimony won't hold in court. It will if you reopen the investigation properly." Tae-jun set the papers down. "Ms. Okonkwo, I admire your passion. But you don't understand how things work here. Hwang Corporation has connections. Political allies. They've already paid their fines. Blood money. And the case is closed. No prosecutor in this office will touch it again." Adaeze leaned forward, her dark eyes blazing. "Then you're not the hero I read about. The articles said you were fearless. That you took down chaebols, politicians, criminals everyone else was afraid to touch. What happened? Did they break you, or did you just stop caring?" The words hit like a slap. Tae-jun's jaw tightened. "Get out of my office." Not until you look at this evidence. I said get out. Adaeze stood slowly, gathering her things. You know what's sad, Prosecutor Kang? You had the power to make a difference. But you chose comfort over courage. That makes you worse than the criminals you prosecute. She walked out, leaving the documents on his desk. Tae-jun sat alone, her words echoing in the silence. Did they break you, or did you just stop caring? That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept seeing Adaeze's face, angry, disappointed, fighting. When was the last time he'd fought for something? Really fought? He opened the documents she'd left and started reading. 3 days later, Adaeze received a call. Unknown number. Ms. Okonkwo. It's Prosecutor Kang. She was surprised. I didn't expect to hear from you. The evidence you provided. I need to verify sources. Does that mean? It means I'm looking. Nothing more. But Adaeze heard something in his voice. Hesitation. Interest. Maybe even hope. I can arrange meetings with the whistleblowers. But they're scared. If Huang Corporation finds out, they won't. Not from me. They met that evening in a quiet cafe in Itaewon. Adaeze arrived first, ordering tea. When Tae-jun walked in tall, sharp-featured, wearing a dark coat, several women turned to look. But he only had eyes for the table where Adaeze sat. He slid into the seat across from her. The witnesses. When can I meet them? After you answer a question. What question? Why did you change your mind? Tae-jun was quiet for a moment. Then, you said I used to be fearless. You're right. I was. Then I learned that winning cases doesn't mean anything if the system is rigged. I've put away criminals who walked free 6 months later because they had the right connections. I've built bulletproof cases that fell apart because evidence mysteriously disappeared. After a while, you realize the game is fixed. So you stopped playing. I stopped caring. Adaeze set down her tea. My father was a judge in Nigeria. He spent 30 years fighting corruption. He put away politicians, businessmen, criminals. Some of them came after him. Our house was burned down when I was 12. My mother was injured. But my father never stopped. You know why? Tae-jun shook his head. Because he said even if the system is broken, every case you win, every criminal you stop, every victim you help, that matters. Maybe you don't change the whole system, but you change someone's life. And that's enough. Something cracked in Tae-jun's chest. When was the last time someone had spoken to him with such conviction? Such belief? Your father sounds like a good man. He was. He died 2 years ago. Heart attack. But he died believing he'd made a difference. Adaeze looked directly at Tae-jun. I came to Korea to finish one of his cases. Those 15 people who died in Ghana? One of them was my cousin's husband. This isn't just about justice for me. It's personal. Tae-jun felt something he hadn't felt in years. Shame. This woman had traveled across the world to fight for her family. And he'd been sitting in his comfortable office, too cynical to care. I'll meet your witnesses, he said quietly. And if the evidence holds, I'll reopen the case. Really? Really? For the first time, Adaeze smiled. It transformed her face from fierce warrior to something warmer, more human. Tae-jun felt his heart stutter. Oh no, he thought. This is dangerous. Over the next 2 weeks, they worked together. Tae-jun interviewed whistleblowers, built evidence, reconstructed the case. Adaeze was beside him every step, translating documents, coordinating with witnesses, pushing him when he hesitated. They spent long nights in his office, surrounded by case files and cold coffee. She taught him about Ghanaian environmental law. He taught her about Korean corporate structure. Somewhere between legal briefs and midnight conversations, something shifted. Tae-jun noticed small things. How Adaeze always brought extra food and shared it without asking if he was hungry. How she hummed while reading documents, soft Nigerian melodies he didn't recognize. How she'd absently touch his shoulder when making a point, and his entire body would react to that simple contact. Adaeze noticed things too. How Tae-jun's cold exterior melted when he talked to victim families. How he stayed up all night preparing motions because he refused to present anything less than perfect. How he'd remove his jacket and drape it over her shoulders when the office got cold, pretending he didn't notice. One night, after a particularly difficult witness interview, they sat in silence. You're good at this, Adaeze said quietly. At what? Caring. You pretend you don't, but you do. That witness, the way you spoke to her, made her feel safe. That was real. Tae-jun looked at his hands. Maybe I forgot how. No. You just needed someone to remind you why it matters. Their eyes met. The air between them charged with something neither wanted to name. Tae-jun cleared his throat. We should focus on the case. Right. The case. But both of them knew something had changed. The breakthrough came on a Thursday. Tae-jun found financial records showing Hwang Corporation had known about the contamination 9 months earlier than they'd admitted. Not 6 months, 9. They'd covered it up, falsified reports, bribed inspectors. This is it, Tae-jun said, voice tight with controlled excitement. This proves premeditation. We can file for case reopening. Adaeze grabbed his arm. You're sure? I'm sure. She threw her arms around him without thinking. Thank you. Thank you for fighting. Tae-jun froze. Her warmth, her closeness, the jasmine scent of her hair, it overwhelmed him. Slowly, carefully, he put his arms around her. Thank you for making me fight, he whispered. Adaeze pulled back slightly, looking up at him. They were so close. Too close. Tae-jun. His phone rang, shattering the moment. He pulled away, checking the screen. It's the director. I need to take this. He answered, his expression darkening as he listened. What? When? I'll be right there. He hung up, jaw tight. What happened? The main whistleblower. The Hwang executive who gave us the financial records. He's dead. Car accident. Adaeze's blood went cold. That's not a coincidence. No, it's not. They stared at each other, the reality sinking in. They weren't just fighting a legal battle anymore. They were in danger. The next morning, Tae-jun arrived at his office to find the director waiting. His expression was grave. Tae-jun, we need to talk. Sir, I know about the whistleblower. It's not just that. The director handed him a document. Hwang Corporation filed a complaint. They're accusing you of witness tampering, illegal evidence gathering, and collusion with a foreign national to damage their reputation. Tae-jun's hands clenched. That's absurd. Everything we've done is by the book. They have evidence. Photos of you meeting with Ms. Okonkwo in cafes, hotels, at night. They're spinning it as a conspiracy. We were working on the case. It looks bad, Tae-jun. And they're not just coming after you. They filed a deportation request for Ms. Okonkwo, claiming she violated visa regulations. Tae-jun felt ice in his veins. They're trying to silence us. They're succeeding. I'm being pressured to drop the case. And if you continue, they'll destroy your career. Is this worth it? Tae-jun thought about Adaeze. Her fierce determination. Her belief that one case could matter. The way she'd made him remember why he'd become a prosecutor in the first place. Yes, he said firmly. It's worth it. The director sighed. Then you're on your own. I can't protect you. I don't need protection. I need justice. He found Adaeze at her hotel, packing frantically. She looked up when he entered, tears in her eyes. They're deporting me. Immigration came this morning. I have 48 hours. I won't let that happen. Tae-jun, you can't stop this. They're too powerful. Then we fight smarter. He grabbed her hands. We go public. Release everything to the media before they can bury it. If the story breaks, they can't silence us. That could destroy your career. My career means nothing if I don't use it for something that matters. You taught me that. Adaeze searched his face. Why are you doing this? Because Tae-jun hesitated, then said what he'd been holding back, because you're right. One case can matter. One person can make a difference. And right now, you're the bravest person I know. I won't let them win. Something fierce and tender passed between them. Okay, Adaeze whispered. Let's fight. They worked through the night. Tae-jun contacted journalist allies. Adaeze coordinated with international media. By dawn, the story was everywhere. Hwang Corporation cover-up exposed. Korean prosecutor risks career for justice. Nigerian lawyer faces deportation for fighting pollution case. The response was immediate. Public outrage. International pressure. Human rights organizations rallied. Even Korean citizens who rarely paid attention to corporate crimes were calling for investigation. Hwang Corporation tried to respond, but the evidence was too damning. Financial records. Testimony. Internal documents showing they'd known people would die and proceeded anyway. Within 3 days, the case was officially reopened. The deportation order was suspended pending investigation. And Tae-jun, instead of being fired, was assigned to lead the new prosecution. But victory came with costs. Tae-jun's family was furious. His mother called, voice sharp with anger. "You embarrassed yourself. All over the news with that foreign woman. People are talking. Let them talk. She's using you. Can't you see that? She's fighting for justice. That's all. Justice? You threw away your reputation for a Nigerian woman you barely know." Tae-jun's voice went cold. "I threw away nothing. I found something worth keeping. If you can't see that, then you don't know me at all." He hung up. Adaeze faced similar pressure. Her organization questioned her methods. "You're supposed to work within systems, not antagonize them. You've made enemies in Korea." "Good," she replied. "Justice needs enemies uncomfortable." But late at night, when they were alone in his office, the walls came down. "I cost you your family's approval," Adaeze said quietly. "You gave me something better. Purpose. Tae-jun, when this case is over, I go back to Nigeria. You know that." His chest tightened. He'd been trying not to think about that. "I know. Then why are you looking at me like that?" "Like what?" "Like you don't want me to leave." Tae-jun set down the case file he was holding. "Because I don't." The air shifted. "Tae-jun, I know it's complicated. I know we come from different worlds. I know this started as just a case." But somewhere along the way he stopped, struggling with words. "You made me feel alive again. And now I don't know how to go back to being the man I was before you." Adaeze's eyes filled with tears. "I feel it too. But this is impossible. Your family hates me. My work is in Nigeria. You belong here. I belong wherever you are." The words hung between them, raw and honest. Adaeze stood, walked to him, stopped inches away. "Don't say things you don't mean. I've never meant anything more." She kissed him then, soft, desperate, full of everything they'd been holding back. Tae-jun pulled her close, his hands in her hair, her warmth against him. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Adaeze whispered, "This changes everything." "Good," Tae-jun said. "I'm tired of things staying the same." The trial lasted 3 months. Tae-jun prosecuted with precision and passion. Adaeze sat in the gallery every day, their eyes meeting across the courtroom. When the verdict came, guilty on all charges, real jail time for executives, massive reparations for victim families, the courtroom erupted. Outside, journalists swarmed. "Prosecutor Kang, you won." "We all won," Tae-jun said, looking at Adaeze. "Justice won." That night, they celebrated quietly in his apartment. Just the two of them, wine and Chinese takeout. "You did it," Adaeze said, smiling. "We did it." "What happens now?" Tae-jun took her hand. "Now I tell you something I've been thinking about for weeks." "What?" "I love you, Adaeze Okonkwo. I love your fire. Your courage. The way you fight even when it's hard. The way you made me remember who I wanted to be." He paused. "I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. But I love you." Adaeze felt tears spill over. "I love you too. But Tae-jun, my life is in Nigeria. My work. Then I'll come to Nigeria." She stared at him. "You can't just leave Korea." "Why not? My career here is damaged anyway after this case. But in Nigeria, I could teach. Consult. Help build legal systems. Be useful. Your family will learn to accept it. Or they won't. But I'm not losing you because I'm afraid of change." Adaeze searched his face. "You'd really give up everything?" "I'm not giving up anything. I'm choosing something better. I'm choosing us." She kissed him again, salt from tears mixing with sweetness. "Then choose me," she whispered. "Choose us." 1 year later. Adaeze stood in the Lagos Office of Justice Without Borders, reviewing case files. Outside, the city hummed with its usual chaos, traffic, vendors, music. The door opened. Tae-jun walked in, carrying coffee and akara. Breakfast, he said in Yoruba, still accented but improving. Adaeze laughed. Your Yoruba is getting better. Your mother is a tough teacher. He'd moved to Lagos 6 months ago. It hadn't been easy, different language, different culture, different legal system. But Tae-jun had thrown himself into it. He now consulted for Nigerian prosecutors, taught at University of Lagos, and worked cases with Adaeze. His family had eventually come around. His sister visited twice. His mother sent awkward but genuine emails. They were trying. Ready for the hearing? Adaeze asked. They were working on another corporate case, Nigerian company, environmental damage, familiar territory. Always ready when I'm with you. As they walked out together into the Lagos heat, Tae-jun thought about the man he'd been a year ago. Cynical. Broken. Dead inside. Adaeze had brought him back to life. Not just through love, but through purpose. Through showing him that fighting mattered. What are you thinking? She asked. That I spent years believing justice was impossible. But you proved me wrong. We proved it together. Together, he agreed. And as they drove through Lagos traffic toward another battle, another case, another chance to make a difference, Tae-jun knew something with absolute certainty. He'd found exactly where he belonged. Not in Seoul. Not in Nigeria. But beside her, fighting for what mattered. Because sometimes the greatest justice isn't found in courtrooms. It's found in choosing love over fear, purpose over comfort, and fighting for what's right, even when the whole world says it's impossible. If you enjoyed this story of justice, courage, and love that crossed oceans, please like, share, and subscribe for more incredible tales.